Ophelia on the move again. Your weather station has the new advisory.
Made a scapegoat by the press, but not the president. What FEMA's director has to say about being pulled out of New Orleans.
And some optimism tonight out of New Orleans, why the death toll may not be as high as first thought.
He covered Katrina as it made landfall and the aftermath. Now Brian Andrews is back and shares his storm stories.
And just how high was the storm surge that hit New Orleans? We have that in team coverage after Katrina.
Plus, only on 4, what a comedian is saying about a confrontation that rocked South Florida morning radio.
Good evening, South Florida. I'm Maggie Rodriguez.
I'm Rob Hanrahan. A big night of news right now.
Now, live. This is CBS 4 News at 11.
First at 11, Hurricane Ophelia moving away from land, but possibly not for long.
At least for now, though, the storm's movement means good news for the northeast coast of Florida, battered by the storm's punishing waves. Tonight, we may know a little bit more about where Ophelia may be headed next.
CBS 4 storm specialist David Bernard has details from Weather Control. David?
The good news tonight, Rob and Maggie, is the storm is heading further out to sea, at least for the time being. The storm is not getting weaker, but at the same time, it's not getting stronger. Here's the latest satellite image of the last 12 hours. And the other thing you've noticed is that all those purples have really decreased. There's a lot of dry air that's feeding in from the north and west, and so that's making it really tough for Ophelia to get much stronger. And indeed, that's not happening tonight, although the latest reconnaissance reports from hurricane hunters are indicating that it's equally as strong as it was earlier today, at least in winds. Highest sustained winds now 75. Here's the key, though, that movement now northeast at 9, so continuing to push well away from the coast. The question is, though, will it slow down and turn back around toward potentially Georgia or more particularly the Carolinas as we go into the weekend, and then further on out into early next week, possibly being near Charleston Monday afternoon and spreading inland or possibly even up the east coast after that. Right now, though, it is moving out to sea, and that's the good news. Now, when we look at the water vapor imagery here, why is it getting pushed out to sea? Here's all that dry air, especially right in here, and we have an area of low pressure that's diving really south into Georgia, just like this. And so it's pushing the storm to the northeast until this weekends or moves out to the northeast. That storm is going to continue to push out of the area. Certainly no threat to South Florida. But we do have a couple of showers in the area. I'll show you those on real-time Doppler 4 in a few minutes.
FEMA's director reassigned from the response to Hurricane Katrina after questions about his credentials surface. Now the agency is cutting up its disaster debit card program. Tonight, a storm of controversy surrounds FEMA.
From the very beginning, FEMA Director Michael Brown has been criticized for his slow response in the Gulf Coast.
And now some are asking why he was put into that post in the first place. CBS 4's Carrie Codd in News Control now with the story. Carrie?
Well, Rob, Maggie, President Bush pulled FEMA Director Mike Brown out of the Gulf Coast today. Tonight, Brown says he's being made a scapegoat by the media for the way he handled the hurricane recovery. And now there are questions about whether Brown padded his resume to get the FEMA job in the first place.
As head of FEMA, Mike Brown is paid to deal with crises. Now his latest crisis involves his career. Critics blame Brown for the slow federal response to Hurricane Katrina's devastating blow to the Gulf Coast.
If Mike Brown could not perform in this disaster, lost the confidence of the American people, why do we think it's going to change?
Just days after Brown briefed President Bush and got a show of support.
Brownie, you're doing a heck of a job.
The president sent Brown to Washington. The president placed Coast Guard Vice Admiral Thad Allen in charge of the recovery effort. We're also learning just 2 days before Katrina took aim at the Gulf Coast, FEMA workers spoke up about the impending disaster.
We put a situation report out at 5:30 a.m. in big black type saying a catastrophic hurricane is headed straight dead center for New Orleans. And Brown and Chertoff and these people did nothing.
Now, Brown is out of the Katrina operations, but is still in charge of FEMA, and he faces another storm, questions about his resume. Time magazine is reporting Brown said he was an assistant city manager in Edmond, Oklahoma with emergency services experience. Time reporter Carolina Miranda told the CBS Early Show that's not accurate.
When we called the folks in Edmond, they told us that no, his position in fact had been assistant to the city manager, which is a purely administrative
very different
charge.
job.
Very different job. He was an administrative assistant. It's sort of an entry-level intern type job for somebody who's interested in learning about government.
Brown apparently also told the legal website Find Law he taught at a university in Oklahoma. Time found otherwise.
it said that he was a professor at Central State University in political science. Well, we called Central State. They said that he had never been a professor there, that he'd been a student there.
A FEMA spokesperson says the Fine Law website is wrong, and Brown says much of the Time article is inaccurate.
Now, about those debit cards, FEMA decided to give them out, $2,000 debit cards to storm victims. Today, FEMA pulled the plug on that program after lots of confusion. Storm victims, however, will still get money, this time directly into their bank accounts. In News Control, Carrie Cott, CBS 4 News Tonight.
Well, from Carrie, our team coverage moves now to New Orleans.
CBS 4's Dave Malkoff is there live with the latest on the evacuations. Dave.
Yeah, we drove down here a few days ago with a convoy of food from Miami-Dade County. Let me show you what's happening right here in the French Quarter. These trucks have lined up all the way down this street, and these trucks are actually from Seattle and the Northwest. They are carrying food, and it is much needed here because there are still about 10,000 people here in the city. The goal is to get those people to leave as fast as possible. This is the way, the only way, to find the dead and the die-hard, the people who still refuse to leave.
No, I think the people need to get out. There's too much disease in this water.
This is the New Orleans Police Department's way of kindly asking people in these homes to get out. You see the chopper is above looking for people. We are below, driving through the flooded street. Last time they were here in boats, and they couldn't find anybody. Now, they're finding people piece by piece, and to them, it's a little surprising. Here on the 9th Ward, on the east side of New Orleans, is where we found this woman, looking very dehydrated and worn out. She accepted our water, but denied our ride out. At this point, that is her choice. Across town, gun! This man was arrested and hauled away. That's because police found him packing a gun.
Kevin, look!
Then there's the story of the pets left behind, hiding under a car or walking along the porch, as if their owners would be by at any time to pet them.
There are crews from around the country, all over the country. Animal Health has come down with their trucks, and the SPCA, the Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals.
Later on the trip, just by a stroke of luck, we ran into the Miami SPCA. They will take the dog and cat we picked up in our caravan.
So if anyone's watching, please call Adopt a Stray. We need fosters, we need people to bring them in. Pet food, people food, and gasoline. Three things that are very hard to find in New Orleans. Another thing they're not finding is all the bodies they thought they were going to find as the water drained out of the city. The estimate was about 10,000 people they thought may be dead underneath that water. They're not finding that, according to the Homeland Security boss for the city. He won't give us an updated number, though. Live in New Orleans, I'm Dave Malkoff, CBS 4 News Tonight.
So many stories to tell. We turn now to our own Brian Andrews, who told us the stories as he rode out Katrina and covered the aftermath for us for more than a week.
Brian, you just returned from the Gulf Coast region. Let's go back and start from the beginning. A great job in these adverse conditions, but it started out with that adrenaline with the storm hitting, didn't it?
Yeah, it was like 7 o'clock in the morning, and it looked like a blizzard, a snowstorm, if you will, but it was the rain being whipped in 50 different directions, coming down Canal Street. And the sound, it sounded like a freight train met a jet engine from a 777 out at the airport. It was just nuts. And this video that we're showing you was shot just outside the hotel where we were at. We ran into the motor lobby and ran out into the street because we just wanted to see for ourselves what it was like. None of us have ever been through a Category 4 before. And that's how we got these images. My photojournalist, Kevin Martels, did a great job of keeping his balance as we were just getting hammered with these winds.
Brian, nobody expected it to be as bad as it was, the aftermath.
Right.
So
and we didn't know it was that bad
Right,
for
I
days.
remember. So finally, when you did reach the convention center where all the people were evacuated, looking at the pictures of that, it just seems like it was utter chaos.
It was absolute chaos because you had you had old people, you had sick people, you had people who were breaking into hotels across the street and throwing mattresses off the 5th floor so they could sleep on something on the sidewalk. Filth everywhere. There were dead people. The pictures that you saw don't even do half of it justice as to what the conditions were like, and it was heartbreaking because you would see all these elderly people who didn't know where to go, didn't know what to do, had no one to guide them to, hey, go over here for water, or walk another 2 blocks and get in line for a bus or a helicopter. It was really tough.
Well, those, you know, there was chaos there. But there was one thing going on that we saw here, you know, through the TV cameras, and you saw a lot of, that was the helicopter rescues. Those seem to be going fairly well. I mean, these guys are doing an amazing job.
I was so proud to be an American. It was like the Great American Airlift, and that's what we called it, because it was one helicopter after another, and it was the National Guard and the Army and the Navy and the Air Force and the Marines, and they're grabbing people and putting them in there and helping the injured and the elderly with their wheelchairs and their walkers. And while they weren't allowing people to take their pets in the beginning, eventually they were letting anyone and their dogs get on the helicopters, and they would land at the New Orleans airport. They'd be given food and water, and then they'd be put on a flight out of town, and people were so happy to be getting out of the misery. I mean, the city smells. It smells like trash. It smells like death. There are flies the size of quarters. The mosquitoes, they're biting you left and right. You don't know what they're carrying. It's a really dicey situation.
You can't help but, when you're covering a story like that, becoming part of the story, because you had to live in that yourself. How'd you manage that?
We slept in our car. We slept on Canal Street. We had sleeping bags. We actually got a hotel room 1 or 2 nights that didn't have electricity or running water, but at least it was a place to be out of the elements. These were the toughest conditions I've ever worked under in my career. And it was tough, but
fantastic job.
Thanks.
And we are so glad you're safe and well.
I'm so happy
welcome
to be
home. I know you are. Sit in the air conditioning tonight and enjoy it.
I will.
Thank
I'm
you,
heading back
Brian.
on Monday, though.
Yeah,
All right.
I know.
We'll look
the
forward
work
to your
hasn't
reports.
stopped.
See you. Thank you, guys.
So many stories of heartache, but there are also stories of hope tonight, and this is one of them, a doctor who came to the rescue of the rescuers in New Orleans. Here's CBS 4's Evan Bacon.
Looks like you made it out okay.
Dr. Tony Androulanis is back in the emergency room at Memorial Hospital West after completing a 9-day assignment he'll never forget in the hurricane-ravaged city of Gulfport, Mississippi.
We saw a lot of heat-related illnesses. So with the humidity, task force members were working 18+ hours per day, for 8-10 days. There's a lot of concerns with dehydration.
Dr. Androulanis cared for 80 rescuers and some of their canines, treating everything from puncture wounds to infections to battered dog paws. Aside from the destruction, what really amazed him was the generosity of storm victims, many of whom lost everything.
And the ones that had been uprooted, they were still always there to help the rescuers, offering their limited supply of water to us. They would come by our base of operations and make us slushy drinks.
The doctor says it's hard to keep his emotions in check with all the destruction and heartache, but he was focused on his mission, keeping those rescuers healthy.
That's what we go into medicine for, hopefully physicians do, is to help people, reach out a helping hand in times of greatest need. And I can't imagine a time when people would be in more of need.
Dr. Androulanis is one of 3 physicians from the Memorial Hospital Network to serve in the Gulf states. 2 other doctors from Miramar are still there right now. In Pembroke Pines, Evan Bacon, CBS 4 News tonight.
A Mississippi 911 dispatcher is talking about the emotional toll of working through the hurricane. Many storm victims called 911 begging for help, but in some cases, the weather was too dangerous for emergency workers to respond. It got so bad that some people knew they were going to die and asked the dispatchers to contact their loved ones.
Knowing that you're the last person they talk to, and sorry. And I hope their families understand that we tried.
You can only imagine. Dispatchers also say that some of the most difficult calls came from children who were desperate for help. Well, good news here tonight. All of the premature babies evacuated from New Orleans to intensive care units in Baton Rouge have been reunited with their mothers. The last of the moms was found today. It turns out she and her other children were stuck in New Orleans when a National Guard boat finally came by and rescued them.
It looked more like the Grammys or the Oscars tonight as the stars came together to raise money for Hurricane Katrina survivors. Alicia Keys, Mariah Carey, Paul Simon, and U2 were among the big-name performers on Shelter from the Storm, a concert for the Gulf Coast. Other stars included Morgan Freeman, Jennifer Aniston, and Ellen DeGeneres, who was born and raised in Louisiana. All the major TV networks carried the telethon live.
CBS is apologizing tonight for airing an episode of The Price is Right. Yesterday's episode featured a showcase offering a trip to New Orleans. That included a stay in a fancy hotel near the French Quarter. The network promises future reruns will be screened to make sure the show doesn't offer any more trips to the Gulf Coast area.
Miami Heat Center Shaquille O'Neal wants your help gathering relief items for Hurricane Katrina victims. Shaq and his family have set up a drop-off location at the American Airlines Arena tomorrow morning beginning at 9. Donors are urged to drop off toiletries and personal items for the victims.
You can also donate to the relief effort by calling Neighbors for Neighbors at 305-597-4404 or toll free at 877-411-4242.
And be sure to keep it here for complete coverage after Katrina. We'll have the latest all week long beginning tomorrow at 8 a.m. with CBS 4 News This Morning.
Other news now, a family is reaching out to the community hoping to find new leads in a deadly Bennigan's parking lot shooting. Charles Scott White's family has put up a billboard advertising a reward for information. It's on northbound I-95 about a mile south of Oakland Park Boulevard. Back in June, White and a co-worker were ambushed in a robbery attempt. White was shot and killed during the scuffle. If you have any information, please call Broward Crime Stoppers at 954-493-TIPS. You could receive up to $21,000 in reward money if your information leads to an arrest.
Former Miami Herald columnist Jim DeFeeti will not face charges for recording a conversation with the late Arthur Thiel. DeFeeti had turned over the tape to his Herald bosses, who then fired him. Now that he's been cleared, DeFeeti says he wants his job back.
Look, we all could have done better that night. It was an incredibly stressful night. I think we all think that there were things we probably could have done and handled in a different way with hindsight. You know, the question is, the Herald is the only one, though, that can go back and make it right.
It was based upon the ethical conduct that we expect Miami Herald reporters to follow through and that Jim failed to do on that night.
DeFeeti says he's not planning to sue to get his job back.
Well, tonight there are new details about what led to the catastrophic flooding in New Orleans.
And just how high the storm surge really was. CBS 4's David Bernard is here with more on that, plus our weekend forecast. David.
Rob and Maggie, we're going to show you a map of New Orleans tonight, talking with engineers out of Louisiana State University this afternoon. We got some actual numbers on how much water actually came into parts of the city and into St. Bernard Parish. And you've heard a lot about this the last week or so. We had the flood wall break at the 17th Street Canal, also here at the Industrial Canal, and then the wall of water that came into St. Bernard Parish. How much water was there? Well, according to the professors over at Louisiana State, 17 to 19 feet of water actually came over the levees here in St. Bernard. And the levee height at its peak is 17 feet, but it actually may be a little bit lower than that in parts. That means there could have been anywhere from 3 to 4, maybe in some lower spots, 5 feet of water overtopping the levee and flooding all of St. Bernard. That's why that area is so devastated. But only 12.8 foot waves into the 17th Street Canal, and the levee there is higher than that. So if the flood wall had not broke, there would not have been this tremendous rush of water into New Orleans, or also around the Industrial Canal, where the levees there are anywhere from 17 to 20 feet, and the actual wave heights are 15 to 16 feet. These numbers just emphasizing how the catastrophe could have been avoided in New Orleans if those flood walls have held. But for St. Bernard Parish, the wall of water was just too high, and the levees were overcome down there. Just another chapter in this unfolding disaster across southeast Louisiana. Let's look at our weather tonight. 83 at Weather Control, 82 in Fort Lauderdale, 83 in Key West, 8 on the stickiness scale. It's extra steamy outside. We have a west wind right now at 7 miles per hour. Real-time Doppler 4, there's actually been 1 or 2 showers around this evening. They're just about falling apart around Opelika and North Miami. They were a little stronger earlier, and even a couple of lightning bolts, maybe around Ball Harbor. There could be a little bit of a sprinkle. This is actually because of Ophelia, some moisture that's been coming around the backside of the storm, but mainly we're under the influence of dry air, and that's why the last couple of days there's been little, if any, rain and lots of hot sun during the afternoon. But the humidities, at least during the day, have been held down to reasonable levels for September. Lots of sun for tomorrow with a little rain chance, much like today. Any showers will be mainly well up to the north of the area, but we can't rule out maybe a 10% chance of a shower. On Sunday, sunny and hot again with a few showers, mainly under the influence of this dry air with the storm well up to the north of us. And into early next week, again, the most likely cases for the storm to potentially turn back to the west toward the Carolinas, again, well north of us. We should see summery temps with just a few storms around. Here's your forecast tonight. Early showers, otherwise nice. A low of 77 degrees for tomorrow, 92. Hot sun with a small shower chance. Look for winds 10 to 15 northwest in the morning, then east in the afternoon with seas at 2 to 4 feet. Here's your Sunday forecast. Lots of sun, a few showers, and a temperature around 91 degrees. I think all in all, it looks like the weekend should be pretty nice.
Doesn't look bad at all.
No. Thanks, David.
Thank you, David. A comedian who rocked a South Florida radio station with his outrage aimed at a DJ is explaining why he lost his cool. The story you'll see only on 4 is next.
But first, we'll give you a look at tonight's Mega Money numbers. We will, we promise.
There they are.
CBS 4 News Tonight. We'll be right back.
Tonight, Dave gets real answers from Jennifer Lopez.
No.
Then tennis star James Blake talks about his neck injury.
I ran into a net post. You're not supposed to do that.
Plus, know your current events.
I'd rather play with her, honestly.
All new tonight.
Imagine being the airline worker who checked in the 9/11 terrorists.
Do you still blame yourself?
Next, Oprah.
Monday at 4 on 4.
Ride it like a Ford, ride it like a Ford, ride it like a Ford. You wanna take a ride, wanna come aboard? You gotta ride it like a Ford.
Step up your ride and get into an 05 Ford F-150 starting at $14,746 and save over $5,300 with the Ford family plan. And with its best-in-class towing, you know you can load it up. So get to your South Florida Ford dealer and save over $5,300 on F-150 and ride it like a Ford.
You gotta ride it, ride it.
Wake up to good health today. For a limited time only, stop by your local Publix and pick up Kellogg's Healthy Beginnings magazine, filled with valuable coupons worth over $20. Healthy living begins with healthy eating, and this free guide focuses on fiber, quick breakfast tips, heart health, and just as important, how to eat right and stay healthy. Available exclusively at Publix grocery stores. This magazine is all you need to have a healthy beginning every morning.
Attention shoppers, there's a Toyota Camry parked in a tow-away zone.
Now get $1,500 cash back or 1.9% APR financing for 36 months on the 05 Camry LE. That's $1,500 cash back or 1.9% financing. Toyota, moving forward.
Want more morning news with half the commercials? Starting Monday. That's just what you get from CBS 4 News.
Get more big news.
With less commercials.
More developing stories.
With less commercials.
More weather and traffic.
With less commercials.
More reports to keep you healthy and to help you save money, too.
Get more morning news with half the commercials.
And get more of the news you want right now.
Only on CBS 4 News this morning. Weekdays from 5 to 7, starting Monday. If you see news in the making, dial star CBS 4 on your T-Mobile cellular phone. You're watching CBS 4 News, South Florida's #1 11 o'clock news.
Only on 4 tonight, a comedian takes to South Florida airwaves talking about what led up to a squabble on another morning radio show.
CBS 4's Jason Wheeler has the exclusive from Coconut Grove.
It seems that Aries Spears has replaced his comic routine with a rather dramatic one.
No, we have to stand strong and stand together despite the ignorance of some other radio stations.
For 2 days on 2 South Florida radio stations, Spears has gone on the air only to go off.
They was really dissing the whole hip-hop culture, and I felt like they was dissing the urban community.
This installment from Friday's Morning Drive on 99 Jams was the sequel to Spears' appearance Thursday on the Paul and Young Ron Morning Show on Big 105.9, where it all started.
Be very careful what you say about people and how you say it.
According to the hosts, a confrontation came about when Spears, who was on to promote his weekend gig at the Improv, for some reason refused to do his trademark voice impersonations. They say when they politely dismissed him, he threw a tantrum, which they made fun of. Apparently, the comic didn't like being the butt of their jokes, though, so he returned to the studio to heckle the hosts, at one point even threatening to deliver punches instead of the expected punchlines.
I'm gonna let you know something else about black people. When you talk like that to us and about us, you get your ass whipped. So if you got something tough to say it now. And I guarantee you I'll whip your ass in this studio.
As for the comedian's assertions now that the whole radio rift had any sort of racial overtones, well, the folks at the Paul and Young Ron Morning Show believe that may be about the funniest joke he's told yet.
And that's when I went, wait a minute, buddy, come on, don't do this. And to have him throw that at me, it really hurt. So, and I will say the defense, many black listeners called our show and said, hey, nothing, that should never have gone that direction.
Now, we did want to get comment from Ari Spears directly here. We tried contacting the stand-up comedian through his agent, but were stood up with no call back. In Coconut Grove, Jason Wheeler, CBS 4 News Tonight.
Up next in sports, the Dolphins make a major announcement concerning Sunday's season opener against the Broncos.
And the Marlins face off with the Phillies as they try to keep pace in the wild card race. Kim Camper with the latest coming up in sports.
Here are tonight's Fantasy 5 numbers. We'll be right back.
One car, one driver, one feeling. The all-new MX-5 Miata. Don't just drive the car, be the car.
It's Bear's grand reopening sale. After a year of hurricane repairs, our North Palm Beach showroom is back. And every Bears showroom is celebrating with up to 50% savings store-wide. Enter to win a $25,000 Bears home makeover. Plus, enjoy complimentary champagne. No interest 1 year, 24-hour delivery. Don't miss this chance to save and win at Bears Grand Reopening Sale. Always beyond the ordinary.
When I go to Publix, I get more than just groceries. It's also where I get advice. You see, every time I visit my friends in the Publix meat department, they always have plenty of great menu suggestions and helpful cooking tips. Plus, if I have a special request, they always deliver. So out of all the different people who help me in the Publix meat department, the one thing that's always the same is the great service.
Publix, where serving you has been our pleasure for 75 years.
Disney on Ice celebrates Walt Disney's 100 years of magic. Come see your favorite Disney characters and stories live on ice. Experience the magic of Mulan and The Lion King as you sing along with your all-time favorite Disney songs.
CBS 4, WFOR TV, and WLVE Smooth Jazz invite you to save $4 on tickets for kids 12 and under to select shows.
Disney on Ice celebrates 100 years of magic.
Playing September 21st through October 2nd. Get your tickets today.
Just announced, the Chevy employee discount continues on 05 vehicles and is now available on 06 full-size trucks. From the family of Chevy trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. The discount price is right on the window. That's the Chevy Total Value Promise. Right now, get a 2006 Silverado half-ton crew cab LT two-wheel drive for under $25,100 after cash back. See your Southern Chevy dealers.
Closed captioning sponsored by City Furniture, now offering same-day delivery 7 days a week.
Kim Camper joins us now. We're all going to get to watch the Dolphins this weekend.
Opening day, and hopefully we see something pretty good. That's what we're hoping for. Anyway, the Dolphins will entertain the Broncos Sunday in front of a sold-out house. That's right. That means that the game will be seen right here on CBS 4 beginning at 1 p.m. Meanwhile, the Marlins in Philly trying to keep up in the wild card race. A.J. Burnett continues his struggles. He gives up a 4-1 lead when Pat Burrell doubles. That brings in a pair of runs. We're tied at 4. The skip sends A.J. to an early shower after 2 1/3. Ryan Mueller not going to fare any better. Ryan Howard sending one into the Phillies bullpen. That one hurts. The Phillies rout the fish 12-5. U.S. Open semifinal, 30-year-old Mary Pierce fighting Father Time and Elena Dementieva. After dropping the first set, Pierce, all bandaged up, rallies to overpower Dementieva. She wins in straight sets and heads to the final. Meanwhile, number 1 seed Maria Sharapova has her hands full with Kim Clijsters. She fights off 5 match points in the second set to force a deciding third. From there, it is all Clijsters. She earns a shot at her first Grand Slam title, winning 6-2, 6-7, and 6-3. Some pretty good matches there. And
that one was excellent.
That one was very
just
good,
couldn't keep the serve going.
No, she had a great second set and then just kind of fell apart.
We watched it sitting right here.
Very sure did.
Thanks, Kimbo.
Thanks, Kim. We have more ahead.
And after
in this broadcast.
I'm sorry.
You weren't expecting me to say that.
After the news on The Late Show, actress Jennifer Lopez. That's her in Flashdance.
Before you leave on your vacation this summer, take a look at your auto insurance. Are you certain that you're getting the best price? You should know Mercury Insurance consistently beats its competitors in head-to-head rate comparisons. Florida drivers can save over $500 a year. So whatever road you take this summer, take Mercury along.
Mercury Insurance, going the extra mile for you. For a fast, free quote, call 888-4-MERCURY.
I need an ultrasound machine.
I need 70 more rolls of paper.
All small businesses have one thing in common. They need things.
We need to get 6 tickets for Tokyo.
With no preset spending limit, the American Express Business Gold Card makes it easy to get what you need.
I need 480 tons of plaster.
No matter what it is you need to get. Apply today, and we'll waive the fee for the first year. Call 1-800-NOW-OPEN.
You know you want to ride it, and right now you can. Because an 05 Ford Expedition offers family plan savings of over $10,300. With its available power-fold third-row seat, you can load it as easy as you ride it. So get to your South Florida Ford dealer for family plan savings of over $10,300 on Expedition, and ride it like a Ford.
You gotta ride it, ride it.
Here are tonight's Cash 3 and Play 4 numbers.
CBS 4 News Tonight will be right back.
$99 a month, but buy a new i5 Kia Spectra from just $99 a month. Only at Bill Seidel Kia, Northwest 36th Street and 32nd Avenue, just 10 blocks east of the airport.
I'm no decorator, so buying furniture used to be a nightmare. Finding the right pieces, the accessories, getting delivery. That's why I love Rooms to Go. It's one-stop easy shopping. With over 100 different room packages, each one put together to the last detail and priced by the piece and by the room, lower than any place else. It's one simple choice. Delivery in days, not months. Decorating made easy. Rooms to Go. What a concept.
Decorating's easy at Rooms to Go. Ride it like a Ford, ride it like a Ford, ride it like a Ford. If you wanna take a ride, wanna come aboard, you gotta ride it like a Ford.
You know you want to ride it, and right now you can. Because an 05 Ford Expedition offers family plan savings of over $10,300. With its available power-fold third-row seat, you can load it as easy as you ride it. So get to your South Florida Ford dealer for family plan savings of over $10,300 on Expedition, and ride it like a Ford.
You gotta ride it, ride it.
Did you know that the pain medication that helps relieve your pain may also be doing you harm?
Hi, I'm Dr. Hernandez. Clinical studies have shown that the continuous use of some over-the-counter and prescription pain medications can increase your risk of stomach ulcers.
If you are over 60 or have a history of stomach ulcers and are taking aspirin or ibuprofen, you could be at greater risk for developing a stomach ulcer.
Remember, not all ulcers cause symptoms, and only your doctor can tell you if you're at risk for this problem.
Sponsored by AstraZeneca.
The Ford F-150 or the Toyota Tundra? Who's got the most standard horsepower?
Well, with a big I-Force V8, the Tundra has 50 more horses than the F-150. With that much more standard horsepower, you'll always be in the passing lane. The full-size Toyota Tundra. Go ahead. Take our horses for a ride.
Now with available cash back and the XSP Sport Package discount, get $4,000 in total savings. Toyota, moving forward.
For a limited time only, stop by your local Publix grocery store and pick up a free copy of Kellogg's Healthy Beginnings magazine, filled with valuable coupons worth over $20.
Did you know there are 50 endangered or threatened species that call the Everglades home? Help these animals survive and thrive. Be careful not to pollute this unique natural resource.
This message is underwritten by the South Florida Water Management District, protector of the Everglades.
$99 a month! Lease a brand new 05 Nissan Sentra or Altima, your choice, from just $99 a month. Only at Bill Seidel Nissan, 10500 Northwest 12th Street, where the Dolphin meets the Turnpike, just across from Miami International Mall.
And remember, when you see news happening, give us a call. The tip line is 866-658-TIPS.
Or just snap a picture, take some video, and email it to us at pix4@cbs4.com.
And that's CBS 4 News Tonight. Thanks for joining us.
Have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday.
Good night.